we know you're busy. You want to stay informed, but who has time to read through all those long reports?
Right.
Well, you sent us some sources on how Cathay Pacific and Air France are doing their thing,
Yeah.
navigating the global aviation world. And, well, we're diving deep into that right now.
Absolutely.
So put away your scrolling thumbs. We've got you covered.
Great. We're going to break it down.
We're going to extract all the juicy bits from understanding global trends, Cathay Pacific and Air France market research.
Ooh, very exciting.
It's from Cognitive Market Research, and it just came out this year.
Yeah, super recent.
So this isn't just about, where planes are going and how much tickets cost.
No. Much bigger than that.
It's about how these big airlines are figuring out what the future of travel looks like.
Exactly. Like, what's next?
And we're going to break down the strategies they're using to really understand what's changing around the world, what passengers need, and ultimately how all this behind-the-scenes stuff affects the trips that, well, you and I might be taking one day.
Absolutely. The choices we make.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do these airlines actually do this?
Yeah, the big question.
Because it's pretty clear from this report that both Cathay Pacific and Air France aren't just throwing darts at a board and,
They're not just guessing.
hoping for the best. They have some pretty sophisticated systems in place.
Right. Very strategic.
So what are we seeing?
Well, the research really highlights that both airlines are using some intricate market research strategies.
Okay.
But there are definitely some interesting differences.
Yeah.
For example, Cathay Pacific seems to really leverage its loyalty program members.
Okay. Yeah. Makes
They have
sense.
tons of data on their most frequent flyers.
Yeah.
And they're using that, combining it with detailed surveys
Hmm.
and keeping a close eye on global travel trends, reports from all over the world.
Okay.
Their focus seems to be particularly on understanding those high-end travelers. Which makes sense, right? They're really strong in the Asian and North American markets.
Yeah, that's where a lot of their premium passengers are.
Exactly.
So it's smart to really understand what those folks are looking for.
Yeah, cater to your biggest spenders.
Okay, so Cathay is laser focused on the premium travel experience.
Seems to be.
But Air France, on the other hand, seems to be casting a wider net.
Much broader approach.
They're definitely looking at customer feedback, for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But they also seem to be digging into those big industry reports.
Yeah.
And working closely with travel agencies around the world.
Right.
It's like they're trying to get a real panoramic view of what's happening.
Totally.
See how passengers are behaving, where those new hotspots are popping up.
Yeah, identify those trends early.
So different approaches. But there's a common thread here.
Definitely.
The report really emphasizes how both airlines are incredibly data-driven.
Absolutely. Data is king.
They're both using real-time analytics, which means it's not static.
These aren't just reports gathering dust on a shelf somewhere.
No way.
They are constantly processing information.
Yeah.
To make their strategies better.
Right.
To make sure that they stay ahead of the game.
Yes, stay competitive.
Out there in the global market.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got all this data flooding in. How do they actually make sense of it?
Yeah, good question.
How do they use it to understand those global trends?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can't just be people hunched over spreadsheets, right?
You'd need a whole army of people.
There has to be something more.
Oh, there definitely is.
And the report actually dives into some of the tech they're using.
Yeah.
Some pretty cutting-edge stuff.
Absolutely.
So for Cathay Pacific,
Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence, AI, seems to be a big player.
Makes sense.
They're using these predictive algorithms
Yeah, that's right.
to try to figure out what those long-haul travel trends are going to be, especially, and this makes sense.
To and from those Asian markets that are growing so quickly.
Right. Lots of potential there.
Huge potential. And then they're also using machine learning
Yeah.
to analyze all those past travel patterns
Yeah, all historical data.
to try and forecast the demand
Right.
for specific routes. So they know,
How to allocate resources.
where to put their planes, what kind of planes to use.
Yeah, maximize efficiency.
It seems like a real game changer
Oh, absolutely.
in terms of like maximizing their efficiency.
Yeah.
And I thought this was really interesting. Predictive algorithms for specific cabin classes.
Wow. That's getting granular.
Yeah, that's next level. So like predicting how many business class seats they might need on a certain route.
Yeah,
That's the kind of detail that could really give them an edge.
absolutely.
So Cathay is all about AI. What about Air France? What are they using to decipher those global trends?
Well, Air France is really into big data analytics.
Okay, so less focused.
Yeah, maybe not as precise.
On those specific routes, but more about the bigger picture.
Right, the overall market shifts.
And the report specifically mentions that they're tracking price sensitivity.
Ah, interesting.
So are travelers around the world becoming more budget conscious?
Yeah, are they looking for deals?
They're looking at changes in, like, when people like to travel?
Seasonal trends?
Yeah, seasonal trends. And, of course, that big one, passenger experience.
Yeah, always important.
So they're analyzing tons of data points.
Millions, probably.
From booking systems to even social media to try and get a complete picture of what's going on.
Holistic view.
So it's almost like, Cathay is using AI as like a precision tool.
Yeah, very targeted.
For specific routes, while Air France is going for that broader market understanding with big data.
Makes sense.
But the key principle is the same.
Absolutely.
It's all about leveraging these advanced tools to be more adaptable and really tailor their offerings to, well, us, the international travelers.
Exactly. Make our experience better.
Now, you mentioned customer feedback earlier.
I did.
Seems like that plays a pretty big role, too.
Oh, it's crucial.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, all these technologies, right, they provide a lot of quantitative data.
Yeah.
Numbers, figures, trends.
Right.
But customer feedback, that's where you get the qualitative side.
Okay.
The why behind the numbers.
The human element.
Exactly.
Okay, so for Cathay Pacific, it sounds like the feedback from those high-value passengers is gold.
Yeah, they treat it like gold.
They really use it to refine those premium services.
Mm-hmm.
All those little details that matter
Yeah.
to those business class travelers, those frequent flyers.
Right.
It even helps them decide where to expand their routes to those key business hubs around the world.
Absolutely.
Because, like, they're creating a travel experience that's really tailored to what their most loyal customers want.
Yeah, give them what they want.
And what's really interesting, the report highlights how they measure satisfaction.
Oh, yeah, very important.
They're using surveys and in-flight reviews.
Makes sense.
To constantly try to improve their service quality.
Yeah, that feedback loop is so important.
They're really listening to those people who are paying top dollar.
Right.
And then using that feedback to get better.
Makes them stand out.
Now, Air France is also tuned in to customer opinions.
Oh, yeah, they have to be.
But their focus seems a bit broader, maybe reflecting that more diverse passenger base they have.
Yeah, they're aiming for a wider audience.
The report emphasizes how they use feedback to address those growing concerns about eco-conscious travel.
Right, sustainability is a big one.
So are people starting to choose airlines that are doing more for the environment?
Yeah, are they willing to pay a premium for it?
Yeah, are they willing to pay a premium? These are big questions.
Yeah.
And of course, they're also looking at things like on-time performance and the overall quality of service.
The basics.
The basics, yeah. Can't forget about those.
No, can't forget those.
And they're getting this feedback from a whole bunch of places, right?
Right.
I mean, social media, that real-time pulse, those post-flight surveys we all get.
Right. The ones we all ignore.
Yeah, sometimes. But they're using it.
Yeah, they're using it.
So it's kind of cool to think that our opinions, our feedback, is actually shaping what these airlines offer.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about the data, the feedback.
Yeah.
How does all that translate into actual strategies?
Right, the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, the rubber meets the road. So Cathay Pacific, for example, seems to be really focused on improving those long-haul international services.
Yeah.
They're also modernizing their fleet.
Yeah, new planes.
Getting those newer, more efficient aircraft.
Right.
And making some big moves in sustainability.
Yeah, that's the trend.
That's a trend we're seeing across the industry, right?
Absolutely.
Everyone's trying to be a little bit greener these days.
Yeah, environmentally conscious.
The report specifically mentions that Cathay is committed to those eco-friendly practices.
Yeah.
Things like reducing fuel consumption, minimizing waste.
Important.
This isn't just about, looking good in the press.
No.
It's a real response to what travelers are demanding.
Right. They want sustainable options.
Okay, Air France, what are they doing?
Well, they're also prioritizing sustainability.
Okay.
Reducing their carbon footprint.
Investing in those fuel-efficient planes.
Yeah.
So mirroring Cathay's approach there.
Yeah, similar goals.
But the report also highlights that they're using dynamic pricing models.
Yes.
Which means they're constantly adjusting their ticket prices.
Yeah.
Based on demand in different regions.
Right, supply and demand.
We've all seen that, right?
Oh, yeah. Prices fluctuate all the time.
Especially, like, if you're booking close to the date.
Exactly.
Or if it's a popular travel time.
Right.
So that dynamic pricing, it's a direct result of all that market research.
It is.
It allows them to cater to different budgets.
Yeah.
And make sure their planes are full.
Maximize their revenue.
Yeah. So these big trends, like sustainability, our individual preferences.
Yeah, all those individual choices.
Are really driving the decisions these airlines are making.
You have to adapt.
Now, the report also makes it clear that neither of these airlines has a one-size-fits-all strategy.
Right.
They know they're dealing with different types of travelers.
Absolutely. Different needs.
So Cathay Pacific, for example, really established themselves as a leading carrier within Asia.
Yeah, especially in East Asia.
And they're really focusing on those affluent business travelers.
Right. And international tourists.
And they've got all those offerings geared towards that demographic.
Yeah.
Exclusive airport lounges, premium cabin experiences.
Yeah.
Highly personalized service.
Right, the whole package.
It's all about appealing to that specific group of people.
Yeah, makes sense.
And their strong network. Connecting all those key business and leisure destinations in Asia.
Yeah, that's their stronghold.
That really reinforces their focus.
Absolutely.
Okay, now Air France.
Yeah.
Seems to be going for a wider audience.
A bit broader.
The report emphasizes how they're trying to cater to everyone, from those business professionals to, people traveling on a budget.
Yeah, more budget conscious.
And they do that by offering flexible ticket options, more affordable fares, and those frequent promotional deals.
Right, gotta love a deal.
So they can appeal to families, vacationers, while still maintaining that kind of premium service.
Right. They don't want to lose that reputation.
That Air France is known for.
Absolutely not.
That's a tough balancing act.
It is.
But it seems like they're doing it.
Yeah, they're making it work.
Okay, so we've talked about all the sophisticated research, all the technology they use.
Yeah.
But the report also touches on the challenges.
Right, because it's not easy.
Of trying to predict the future.
No, it's not a crystal ball.
And global travel, I mean, that's a tough one to predict.
Oh, absolutely.
So many factors.
It's a moving target.
It's a moving target.
Yeah.
So what are some of those challenges?
Well, the report points out that even Cathay Pacific, with all their fancy AI, still has trouble forecasting demand.
Interesting.
For specific international routes.
Yeah.
And think about it.
Yeah.
Geopolitical events.
Right.
Economic downturns in key regions.
Yes, totally.
Those things can change travel patterns overnight.
Absolutely.
And it's tough to model that with perfect accuracy.
Yeah, that's unpredictable.
It really is.
And then Air France has similar issues when it comes to figuring out price sensitivity in different parts of the world.
Yeah, it varies so much.
I mean, currency exchange rates, economic conditions, all over the place.
Right, it's a global market.
So many external factors at play.
Absolutely.
It's not a simple equation.
No, it's a complex one.
And another challenge that the report highlights is this constant need to adapt to what travelers want.
Right, because it changes.
Sustainability.
Yeah.
Transparency in pricing. Seamless digital experiences.
Right, all those expectations.
Those are moving targets, too.
They are.
So both airlines have to be really good at updating their research and their strategies.
Right, constantly evolving.
Okay, so how do they stay ahead of the game?
Yeah, how do they stay relevant?
How do they make sure they're still around in 10 years? 20 years?
Good question.
Seems like it takes a lot of, I don't know, vigilance, willingness to change.
Yeah, you got to be flexible.
Be innovative.
Absolutely.
So what are they doing?
Well, the report emphasizes that both airlines are committed to innovation. As a key to long-term success.
Makes sense. So for Cathay Pacific, that means continuing to invest in those technology solutions we talked about.
Yeah.
Predictive analytics, personalized marketing.
Right, really targeting those messages.
They're also constantly reviewing their routes.
Yeah.
Making sure that they align with what passengers want and with what's happening in the market.
Absolutely.
And Air France is also embracing the digital world.
Yeah, they're all about digital transformation.
So they've got those mobile apps for booking and check-in.
Right. Make it easy.
Contactless options at the airport.
Yeah. Streamline everything.
They're even using AI for customer service.
Interesting.
It's all about making travel easier and more efficient.
Right. Who doesn't want that?
No one. So it seems like both airlines are really trying to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
By understanding what passengers want, building that loyalty.
Yeah, keep those customers coming back.
And making sure everything runs smoothly. Well, all those flights, all those operations.
Absolutely.
It's a huge undertaking.
It is.
But it seems like they're both committed to it.
Yeah, they have to be.
And the report actually includes this really interesting fast fact.
Oh, I love those.
To really show how important all this market research is.
Yeah.
It cites a 2023 industry analysis
that
found that airlines that are really good at analyzing global trends and integrating that into their strategies, like Cathay Pacific and Air France, saw a 15% increase in customer satisfaction.
That's significant.
And a 10% increase in revenue.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's real money.
Real results.
So it's clear. Understanding the market makes a real difference.
Absolutely.
To the bottom line.
Yeah, and to the customer experience.
And to the customer experience. And, understanding all this, it's not just for people in the airline industry.
No, not at all.
It's valuable for anyone interested in business strategy, understanding how consumers behave, especially on a global scale.
Yeah.
It really helps you understand the forces shaping how we travel.
Absolutely.
So, to sum it all up, both Cathay Pacific and Air France are not just sitting back and hoping for the best.
Well, they're proactive.
They're really investing in understanding global trends, what passengers want.
Right.
They're using all this sophisticated market research, cutting-edge technology, and they're listening to our feedback.
Right. Our voices matter.
So they can adapt, they can innovate,
Yeah.
and they can stay competitive in this crazy global industry.
Absolutely.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is.
But it brings up a question.
Okay, I like questions.
For you to ponder.
Oh, good.
Because global events, they can change things so quickly.
Yeah.
What other factors do you think?
Okay. Beyond what we talked about today, do these airlines need to be thinking about?
Interesting.
To make sure they're successful in the long run?
Yeah. What's next?
Lots to think about.
Lots to think about.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
My pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.